New moon in Leo on August 4th. We are in for a wild ride. We have a Mercury retrograde happening on August 4th. It starts on that day. We're in the midst of Lionsgate, which is the spiritual sun. A lot of light coming in, a lot of illuminating of our potentials. If there was one theme that I could say would wrap up kind of this moment in time, this new moon, days before it, days after it, it would be human potential being accessed. So feel into that for yourself and maybe just kind of open up to the possibility, if it feels right, to hold that intention of like, all right, August, first couple of weeks in August are about my potential, me realizing more of my potential. Just ask yourself, what does that mean? This is kind of maybe the first practice that I would say around this new moon that you could do. Reflective question journal prompt is, if I were going to access more of my potential, what would that look like? If I were going to realize more of my potential, I was going to express more of my potential. Like if I were to just meditate on my potential as just raw energy inside of myself, right? Just this like raw energy, this raw, wild love, light potential inside of you. And you just meditate on that. And if I were going to meditate on that and I were going to bring it up and out, this is Leo, it's a Leo new moon, that's up and out. It's like love pouring out of us. And how does love want to move through you? How do potentials want to move through you and out into the world to be expressed beyond self? That's this moment in time. I know I came in full force, right in your face with a whole lot of energy, but that is a representation of the energetics of the moment. So if it feels like it's really in your face, that's Leo season. That's Lionsgate. That's this new moon. That's this Mercury going retrograde into Leo, right? So just know, for some of us, it will feel amazing to become the sun. It's essentially like this moment in time is asking you to become your own sun, the center of your own solar system, the queen of your queendom, the king of your kingdom, this sovereign whole being that radiates love in your unique creative way, your unique way. You radiate love outside of you to shine on your kingdom, queendom. It's really what this moment in time is about. This Mercury retrograde is going to take us into a place to show us what's blocking that. Isn't that cool? That's what Mercury retrogrades are really about. It's not miscommunications and all that stuff. That's the surface level trickster. But what he's doing is he's trying, Mercury is a psychopomp, right? Guide to the soul. He's getting us into deeper and deeper alignment. And this specific theme for this August Mercury retrograde is to get us into next right relationship with our capacity to be queen, to be king, to allow love, more light to move through us, out beyond us, to create, to manifest, to shine. Right? To shine, like your soul shine, you true shining self out into the world. That's Leo season. That's this Mercury retrograde. That's this new moon. Will be very at home and comfortable for some, and will be really uncomfortable for some. And so just kind of honoring that, honoring your relationship in this moment, to what all these energetics are kind of aligning to and pointing to and asking of us. Let's talk a little bit, really broad terms about new moons. So I want to give us a lot of different things to feel into. Again, a lot of different practices and ways to work with the energetics of this. So let's talk new moon. August 4th is the new moon in Leo. That means the moon and the sun are conjunct. It is a time of planting seeds for creative endeavors, planting seeds for shining your light out into the world, planting seeds for love flowing through you, out beyond you in greater ways. Those sorts of things, right? Planting seeds for Leo can also have to do with children. Planting seeds for play. Leo has to do with play, like being playful, playful, childlike, having children, creating things. Maybe you don't have human babies, but you're birthing other babies, right? The creative endeavors. So that's Leo. So you want to think new moon, new beginnings, fresh starts. Now, interestingly, this is all happening within the Lionsgate portal. So let's talk about what this means. So yes, it's new beginnings, new chapters within the Lionsgate portal. That's some potent shit. Let's be really honest about this. That's like not just the sun, right? Which the sun is in Leo. It's not just the sun, like if we were to think of like our heart as the sun, and then we think of higher heart, our spiritual heart, that's Lionsgate. So Sirius is like our spiritual sun, right? It's like the spiritual heart. So now we're getting hit with this energy of asking us to radiate, right? Shine our light, but shine our light from a very soulful, soul-aligned, spiritual, higher consciousness kind of a way, right? I like it in the fact that it will keep us to a tighter, it's like walking a tightrope. This energy will ask us to walk a tighter tightrope with regards to creating what it is that really serves our soul. It's beautiful energy. It's this whole month, to be honest with you, because Mercury retrograde really holds us to that. Kali is up in the mix at the end of this Mercury retrograde too, which she will, of course, as the ego slayer, she will hold us to creating deeper, more soulful, more purpose-filled, more meaningful things in our lives. Isn't this beautiful? So you can think of August as a time of, I'm not going to create the surface level fluffy stuff that feeds my ego. I'm going to create the deeper, more meaningful, more purpose-filled stuff that serves my soul. That's this whole month. That just sums up the energetics of this month. Isn't that stunning? Really and truly, if there's one thing that you want to hold on to, it's that. One thing to hold on to, it's that. And it doesn't mean that quick creations. We have this, many of us, not all of us, of course. I know I sometimes have to catch myself in it for sure. But this like addiction to like, because how fast our world is. And it's like this addiction to like quick payoff, quick payoff, quick payoff, quick payoff, quick payoff, quick payoff, right? Like the quick jolt of winning, succeeding, hitting the goal, da 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 da. But this moment in time can be something that we're building longer term. So there's not that like quick win, right? We're in a Saturn retrograde, about to go into a Mercury retrograde. It's like the long game. There's a bit of long game energy in this. And long game energy is to create that which is really meaningful for my soul. So, for example, something that might be really meaningful for your soul is creating this beautiful, amazing family. Now, that's not going to happen in a week, right? Maybe you're really called to create an amazing retreat space, like sacred temple space, retreat space. That's probably not going to happen in a week. So something to kind of be wary of and to watch out for. There's some energetics in Gemini, which is like quick. Mars and Jupiter and Gemini. That's just a lot of really quick. And Mars wants a quick win, like a quick win. Jupiter expands that energetics of Mars wanting the quick win. Mars is the god of war. That's our action, right? That's our warrior. We all have a warrior. It's what are you going to fight for? You know, what are you living for? What would you die for? And so Mars being hit by Jupiter in Gemini wants quick win. So that's a little bit of a warning sign, right? Just a little bit of a warning sign to, yeah, quick wins are great. And sometimes they are the most soulful thing. Yeah. But to not get caught in that trap, right? And to be able to have a bit of patience, to build for something that is maybe more sustainable, that is maybe more rewarding, that is maybe more soulful. Really and truly, this whole month, you want to think soulful. Soulful. Is this soulful for me? Another quick practice that you could do is to just kind of take life inventory. I love doing this on occasion. Life inventory. And you just go through everything in your life, the relationships in your life, the jobs, the projects in your life, and ask yourself, does this feed my soul? That's a pretty powerful practice. Really good to do around Lionsgate. Again, it peaks August 8th. This whole week, this whole first week, second week as well, will be really full of Lionsgate energy. Remember, that's like the soul sun. That's the spirit sun. So it'll take us into deeper places and it'll allow us to see more. It'll illuminate more and it will awaken more. So a question to ask ourselves is, life inventory, is this soul food? Does this relationship feed my soul? Or does it feed my little ego self needs? And am I called to make any adjustments here? Everything in our life, that is like one of the greatest things that we could do at this moment in time as like a real tangible kind of a practice around this new moon, right? It's new moon. It's also new beginnings, new chapters, fresh starts. The other thing we could do is not just take life inventory and ask about adjustments, because we're in that retrograde period, right? Mercury retrograde from the 4th to the 28th of August. Yeah, that's all about rethinking, reimagining, making adjustments. Same thing with the Saturn retrograde. We're in a greater cycle that lasts longer than that Mercury retrograde, but that's also about making these readjustments of like a life inventory. But with a new moon, we also want to think about the new. And we want to feel into and maybe dream into a little bit. Dream into what is it that would be really soul fulfilling for me? What is it that would feel like soul food? Right? So that's a big part of this moment in time. Now, I know I'm giving us like big, broad brush strokes of this new moon. I'm going to dive into the energetics a little bit more, but I want to quickly pause and just say, if you want to work with Mercury retrograde specifically, this Mercury retrograde in Virgo and in Leo, right? Which has to do with the energetics I was just talking about. Your unique shine your light in your unique way out in the world. What are the blocks that are in the way? Coming into deeper alignment with more soul-fulfilling things in all areas of our life via Lionsgate and Mercury retrograde. That's what we're working with in Bones this month. That's what we're doing on August 1st in Rewilding membership, right? So there's a bonus hour and 20-minute Mercury retrograde specific to this August Mercury retrograde. Crazy powerful. Then there's the Lionsgate workshop that takes place on the 1st of August. I'm filming this on the 31st of July. So just before we go into that workshop, so the energetics are building in my system for it is fucking wild. I love facilitating Lionsgate journeys. I love them. They're wildly transformative, wildly awakening. You're literally working with the spiritual sun. Literally working. We thought Kundalini awakenings were powerful. These, yes. So I'm really excited to hold that space. If that sings to you, it's $59 for an entire month of access. There's probably going to be about 10 hours of workshops in there, 8 to 10 hours of workshops with the bonuses. There's also a Nothing But Soul 3-day challenge that's sitting in the membership as another bonus when you join membership. Super happy for you to come in for a month. If you love it, stay. If you don't, that's great. Come access that Mercury retrograde. Come get into the Lionsgate, either be there live or catch the replay, right? Just it's good. All right. So let's get into some of the more specifics around this new moon energy. Here's one that I love. I love this. The new moon is opposing Chariklo. Chariklo, if we're going to feel into the energetics of Chariklo, it's a feminine archetypal energy, deep, mystical medicine woman. There's a wisdom energy. It's a wisdom. It's a deep, earthy, very grounded wisdom energy. Medicine woman, elder, right? You want to feel into the healing capacities, womb wisdom, midwifery. That's opposing this new moon in Leo. I love that. It's bringing this additional groundedness. So remember we said new moon, new beginnings, new seeds. This being opposed to the medicine woman is a groundedness, an embodiment, right? Like the feminine depths of embodiment. Let's ground this in. Also healing capacities. Chariklo is Chiron's wife. Chiron's wife. So these healing capacities, these shamanic, midwifery healing capacities are also on offer during this new moon. So I love that alignment. It feels really powerful, really majestic. I like that word. I like that word for that aspect is majestic. Okay, so that's one aspect to talk about. Remember I spoke about Mars and Jupiter being in Gemini? So this new moon sextiles Mars and Jupiter in Gemini. It's kind of why I mentioned it earlier, and it's kind of why I said this could be a little bit of a red flag. Don't get swept up in needing quick outcome, right? Like rapid wins, the fast payoffs, where we compromise longer term creations that are more soul fulfilling. Mars can get really egoical, especially in Gemini. There can just be this like need to feed the ego, need to feed like the quick adrenaline boost, quick need to feed the ego, quick need to feel good, need to constantly feel good, need to constantly feed self with, like scrolling through Instagram constantly for just that like quick hit of dopamine, right? Like that's something to kind of watch out for. Something I do love about that, I'll kind of give us the other side of the energetics of this Mars, Jupiter, and Gemini sextile, the new moon, is this mental agility. Gemini is the mind, this mental agility. So it's like the warrior has this mental agility to see different sides, can bounce around really quick, can move really quick. I like that. Jupiter brings the grace and the expansiveness to that. So you can kind of feel into that. There can be some mental dexterity, some ways of solving problems or coming up with other solutions, right? New moon, new chapter. So it's like, ooh, new ways of doing things. We might be able to like see new ways. Mars wants to take action, wants to come up with a plan, wants to move forward, wants to go, let's go. So that might be something, and you can feel into practices around that or reflective questions around that. Like, what is it that really gets your mind going? Who do you talk to get your mind really going? Do you take a walk in the woods? Do you take a shower? I know whenever I'm in the shower, like my mind just goes into like the most creative, problem-solving, glorious places. But you feel for you, like what would support that if you're kind of called to amplify that aspect of this new moon? All right, let's keep going. Let's go a little deeper into the feminine. So deep, sacred, feminine, very loud during this new moon. Deep, sacred, feminine, loud. What does that mean? Deep, sacred, feminine. It's like the deeper mysteries of the feminine. I also want to say the dark goddess is loud during this new moon. Dark goddess, what does that mean? That means repressed feminine. That means oppressed feminine. That means fierce feminine, right? It means, let me feel for a moment. It means some of the magic that went underground into hiding around the feminine. Whatever that means for you, right? Here's why. Venus is conjunct Medusa on 29 degrees of Leo. That's a karmic point, 29 degrees of Leo. Venus is moving into Virgo just after this new moon. So that's a thing, right? That's a thing. She's going from like the love, the heart into Virgo, the mind, analyzing, detail oriented, right? The feminine doesn't love Virgo, like the feminine lover, Venus, goddess of love and beauty. She doesn't love being in Virgo, but she's transiting in there. But for now, during this new moon, she's at 29 degrees conjunct Medusa. Medusa makes Venus go into Venus's deeper, more hidden territory, the deeper mysteries of the feminine, like the deeper, more hidden sensuality of the feminine, the deeper, wilder aspects of the feminine. Medusa really wants us to access wild, uninhibited, unbridled love, right? Like love can come in any form. And Medusa really wants us to remove the masks. Medusa's the Gorgon, the snake, but really part of her journey, an embodied journey with her, would be to remove false masks, to remove armoring from love, to remove the shells that we have around us, the armoring ways that we have around the depth of our vulnerable feminine heart. Now, don't think vulnerable as weak. The depth of our vulnerable feminine heart and the power that resides in the depth of the feminine heart. Isn't that cool? So here's the deal. During this new moon, we have Pluto, Lord of the Underworld, will very much meet the depth of the feminine heart, will very much meet the deep sacred feminine, actually oftentimes will take the feminine into a deeper, more sacred territory within herself. Yeah, pretty good, huh? So we've got Pluto and we have Neptune, mystical Neptune. That was Poseidon. Poseidon is in the Medusa myth. It's Poseidon's fault that Medusa ended up as a Gorgon. Isn't this wild? They're in a finger of God. That is a destined, fated energy. So Pluto, Lord of the Underworld, Neptune, the guy who got Medusa turned into a Gorgon via sexuality. Interesting. Talk about feminine magic and mystery being demonized, judged, repressed, oppressed. If you've done any studies around this, around feminine mythology or feminine in history or aspects of the feminine rising, the awakening of the feminine, you will kind of be tapping into this and you'll know what I'm talking about. If you want more, I don't know, we have 1,000 podcasts on that stuff. Just maybe go look around on our YouTube channel. You'll find a bunch of stuff. But this yod, right, this finger of God between Pluto and Neptune are pointing right at Venus Medusa. I don't know about you, but to me, that is a call to the wild depths of my feminine mysticism, my feminine magic, my feminine embodiment, my feminine love. It is like the world calling upon the deep sacred feminine to show up, to rise, to weave her love into the world in ways that are able to be seen. Leo, they're in Leo, right? They're still in Leo. Venus, Medusa are in Leo. We're amidst all this Leo energy to radiate that out into the world more, not just reclaim these mystical aspects for ourselves. Great, that's wonderful. Dance around your fucking house naked. That's good. But what about sharing that in the world? And the courage that it takes to share that out in the world. The courage, Leo, right? The courage it takes to radiate that out beyond yourself, to gift deep feminine love out into the world, despite the judgment coming at you. Witch wound, that can very much be coming up. Medusa always brings us to our witch wound. You work with Medusa long enough, in an archetypal embodiment way, she will show you your witch wound. And we all have different flavors of it. Witch wound, what is that? It's like when we embrace our feminine mystical gifts, our feminine empowerment, the deep sacred feminine within ourselves, the fears of I'm going to be ostracized, I'm going to be killed, I'm going to get others killed, my babies will be taken away from me, I am terrified of this power. All of that whole kind of category and territory of what arises when you tap into the enormous amount of Shakti, feminine wisdom and feminine power, and you start to bring it up through yourself and express it out beyond yourself, and it's seen. Yep, just that for this new moon. I would love to hang out with you all in membership and work in this territory. Of course, I mean, it's rewilding. We were founded on rewilding for women. We were founded on these archetypal energies, these deep sacred feminine energies rising. So of course, this is coming into our workshop on August 1st, where we're working with Lionsgate. Of course, we couldn't work with that without having this deep sacred feminine aspect coming in. So if this is singing to you or resonating, or you're like vibrating in any way, might be a good sign that this journey that's happening in August in membership is for you. Details are below. It's $59. Just join us for a month. If you love it, stay. If not, totally cool. Let me feel if there's anything else to share. Maybe I'll share this piece too around the deep sacred feminine. Venus is in a square, So Venus, Medusa, they're together. They are both squaring Uranus. So not only are they in this finger of God, they're square the Great Awakener. Uranus, the Great Kundalini Awakener. The Great Awakener is square the deep sacred feminine, Venus and Medusa. So, I mean, that just adds fuel to the fire. That just adds more. I mean, and when you look at a finger of God, a yod, the outlet is the feminine. It's going to be interesting to see what happens around the 4th, around like the release valve being the deep sacred feminine. This is just maybe something to feel in yourself. Sometimes the deep sacred feminine, like stage 2, I always talk about the embodiment of the different aspects of the feminine or the masculine of archetypal energies in 3 stages, right? 1 is dormant. Like the Medusa energy is just not, it's just dormant in you. And that's okay. Like we all start out with many of these things dormant. And then we go to stage 2. And I have 2 words for this one. The nicer word is developing, right? So we're developing this healthy Medusa Shakti, this healthy Medusa energy able to move through us. It means we have to release the witch wound. We have to release the pains and the fears and all the stuff that thread of archetypal energy brings up in us. So that's stage 2, developing or distorted. Comes out distorted sometimes. And then 3rd stage is divine. It is such a pure energy that flows through. It comes through love, light. It is a gift. It is divine expression. And it can be of Medusa. It can be Kali. It can be Lilith. It can be any of these flavors. But we're able to express it in that divine 3rd stage because we've done the work, right? We've opened up the energy. It's gone from dormant to awake in us. And then we've done we can call it purifying. I think that's a term that is used a lot in like Kundalini, like, you awaken Kundalini and then there's like the 2 years of purifying, right? Where you're just, all the karmas are being pushed out, all the old stuff's being pushed out. And so it'll be interesting to see how this deep sacred feminine, how healed of an expression this is around this new moon, right? Can she come either publicly or for ourselves personally? Can she come from a stage 3 where it is just this love gift? And it can come in fierce grace. It can come in a truth bomb, right? But it is a truth bomb that slices through with love for the greatest good of the all of everything, right? Or is it going to come out in like PMS-y kind of ways? So PMS is actually a really good way to describe stage 2. Stage 2 of repressed feminine energy oftentimes comes out in PMS symptoms of like being cranky, being angry, being feisty, being, right? Isn't that wild? Isn't that crazy? Isn't that beautiful? It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And so it'll be interesting to just see how this expresses. Again, for ourselves personally, for those in our lives, for the collective. And I also just want to say, like, honoring where we're all at with this, and loving it, right? Loving it. If this is not a conversation to make us feel bad about anything. This is a conversation to shine a light on things. It's a conversation to see where we're inspired to do something. It's a conversation to open us up to our greater potentials. This whole month is about our greatest potentials, us realizing more of our potentials. Sometimes us realizing more of our potentials is accessing some of that deep sacred feminine and moving from a dormant through the developing into the divine expression of it. Sometimes us accessing more of our potentials is us really getting clear about what's no longer soulful. us getting clear about what it is that we really want to create in our lives that is so fulfilling. That's us realizing our potentials. That's us realizing our potentials. So this whole conversation is about helping us to realize our potentials. You, me, everyone who listens to this touches into rewilding. The whole thing, this whole thing is created for us to realize more of our potentials. And so that's the note that I'd love to leave us on, is just like, may we in this moment of time, this Lionsgate, this Mercury retrograde, this wild new moon in Leo, this beautiful feminine, deep sacred feminine that's going on, may we realize more of our potentials with it. May we harness it, work with it, open to it, let it inspire us and move us into not just realizing more of our potentials, but expressing them out beyond ourselves, Leo season, out beyond ourselves to gift the world, which then in turn gifts us, because that in turn inspires and opens more and awakens more and shifts more and heals more. And then it's just comes back at us and the ripple effect just keeps going and going and going. All right. I would love to be with you in that workshop for August 1st, Lionsgate, if that calls to you, working with Deep Sacred Feminine also, and that Mercury retrograde. If it sings to you, click the link below. Now is the time to do it while the energetics are open and available. Also, it doesn't last forever. You do have lifetime access, though, once you join during that month. Okay, enough. I love you all. Have a beautiful new moon. Have a beautiful, first week of August. Would love to see you in the comments. I'm always there. If this serves, you know the drill. Hit the things, the buttons, the notification. I don't even know. Leave a comment. It's just beautiful to be with you all. We co-create this together. I wouldn't be here without you all, and I know that. This is very much a co-creation, and I am crazy grateful for our rewilding community and everything that you all do. Yeah, that's it. I love you all.